Good afternoon, I'm Craig with Rize Bikes, and for you fixie owners, I'm going to show you how to put on your front and rear fenders. For the front fender, all you're going to need is a 5mm Allen wrench, a 4mm Allen wrench, and a 10mm socket or wrench. First thing you want to do is remove the front tire. Second thing you want to do is remove the light. Now, the top connection point for the fender you want to have on the front side of the bike. The arms you're going to want to have towards the middle. Simply insert the same bolt the light was on through and reattach. The next thing you want to do is reinsert the wheel.
Calling it the tire, not the wheel.
Once the wheel has been inserted back onto the bike, you'll want to make sure the back clamp where the bar attaches to the fender has been loosened just a little bit. So when you attach the arms to, of course, the front, you're going to be able to center it properly. Now, when putting these two bolts on, don't tighten them completely. You do want them loose for the adjustment. So once you've got one side, you do the other. At this point, you want to see where the fender is and where it needs to be adjusted. You will need to potentially pull these up, push these down when tightening, as well as the final tightening on the back clamp is where you're going to get all the adjustments. This is a little bit of trial and error, but I know you'll be able to get it done. Once you feel you have adjusted the fender correctly, this is where you can finally tighten up the last one with your screwdriver. Now, don't be discouraged if it doesn't seem to want to spin right away freely. This is where the trial and error comes in. Chances are you're going to have to push down on the two bars. They may bend a little, but that is okay. Now, with the Fixie's rear tire, you will see already that it's not like your standard bike tire that drops up, or well, in this case up, but normally down. It actually slides to the back. Now, there's two very important screws that you have to remember with this. The one screw here and its partner on the other side, those are the tension screws. Those actually hold the motor back and cause the tension for the actual chain belt. You do need to loosen the tension to remove the back tire. So when you do, either take a measurement of how far out each bolt is, or simply count the number of full rotations you do with your Allen key when loosening it. One more. Once you've removed the tension, now it's safe to undo the bolts. So this will be an 18mm wrench required. Once you have loosened the back bolts, you can now remove the belt, the chain belt. And you can just hang it down to the side. The next thing you need to do is remove your brake caliper. You could remove it from here, which is the actual point the caliper holds on to the holding bracket, or remove from the actual bracket itself from the bike. I suggest that. It means there's less likely of a chance you're going to have to readjust your back brakes. Now with the tire, of course, you don't have to remove it completely, but just so it's setting off to the side like this is enough space to give you some room to work. It is best if you have a short-elbowed, bent Allen key to assist you. Now again, as with the front tire, you want to at least get the two frame side bolts in first, and then tighten them on once you're happy with its placement. Once you're happy with where it's currently placed, just tighten them up. Now, I know a bunch of you are probably thinking, why didn't you take the whole back wheel off and it'd be much easier? Well, you can, of course, by just simply unplugging the power cord and unsnipping the cable with that's being held by the zap strap. But I wanted to show that it is doable without fully removing the tire. Once you have these two screws tightened, or these two bolts tightened, at this point you can then replace the tire and hook it all back up. Now, before you fully tighten the nuts on the sides of the tires, this is where you want to readjust the tension screws. Remember that number or the measurement I told you to take at the beginning? This is now when you need it, so I hope you took it. So now, when it's time to tighten the nuts on the sides of the tires, most documentation will tell you you need to have 40 Newton meters of torque to tighten them. If you have a torque wrench, by means, please use it. If you don't, just put them as tight as possible. It does say in, of course, your manual that you do need to perform regular maintenance, and a part of that is checking your bolts every ride. And if you're still concerned, feel free to maybe take it to your local auto body shop or mechanic. They probably have one, and maybe they'll be able to help you out just to test it. Now, when attaching the rear arms, of course, to the fender, you want to make sure they're going to be holding in this angle for when you attach them. Like with the front tire, when doing the back fender, you want to just make sure that everything's going to be hand tightened so you can make the final adjustments and tighten it securely. And there you go. That is how you attach your front and rear fender onto your new Fixie bike.